Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Podcast, presented by the Fantasy Football World Championship, home to the industry's most accurate rankings.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Adam Krautwurst, for this grind time show. And with me tonight, the man, the myth, the legend in these FFWC streets, high stakes aficionado, high volume player, Glenn Snake Karant. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Adam, sir, Adam, it's a pleasure as always to see you. The last time I saw you was just about a year ago on the dot. So we're now a year older and hopefully, or presumably, a year wiser from learning from our mistakes. And we're going to knock it out this year like we usually do, no?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We got to get wiser every year. I know last year was not one of my better years for sure.
Ditto that.
Yeah, it's just lots of injuries and stuff to deal that we dealt with last year. Lots of just different crazy things that happened. But listen, the best players get better, and you're going to have bad years. I mean, dude, even think about professional poker players, man. Even those guys have losing years where they lose tens of thousands of dollars or maybe even more. So. And this is
absolutely
even more,
the players that we draft here have the same thing. They have bad years. You think about it, how things change from moment to moment. When you go to work every day, you can go in and wake up on the wrong side of the bed and just go in and have a bad day. And then the next day you can go in and have a brilliant day. And that's how life changes from day to day at work. Imagine how it changes from week to week or year to year. The possibilities are kind of endless, and that's life.
Yeah.
Things change.
Absolutely. 100%. So, but dude, I'm so happy to have you on the show. I know the thing why I love having you on the show is I don't have to come down with some show sheet, some rundown. Here's what we're going to talk about. Cause I know we can just vibe on 2 or 3 topics. We can talk ball all night, talk about the ADPs and the players. I know we're going to get a bunch of people in the chat cause I know people respect your opinion a lot on here. I'm in the Discord and stuff, but before we really get going, I want to talk about tonight, the Las Vegas Fantasy Championship. There's a draft tonight, everyone, at 10 p.m. It's half full. I'm in it tonight. So after the show, I'm going to jump in that draft at 10 p.m. I know Snake's done a bunch of these already. This will be number 5 or 6 for me. 11. Snake's 11 deep. So yeah, we are half full already. It's going to fill. Get in now, guys. This is the mid stakes draft here for the FFWC, the Las Vegas Fantasy Championship, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely jump in that, guys.
Talking about the guys, I don't know how many are watching now, but 24 hours from right now, Adam, there's going to be an event where 2 elderly and presumably American statesmen,
that's right,
are speaking, and they're supposed to have an estimated audience of 150 million Americans.
Incredible.
So if we can get 0.5% of that number tonight,
we'll take it. Smash the like button, everyone.
Park, man.
Listen, people are going to learn something tonight. I don't know what you're going to learn tomorrow night, but tonight you're definitely going to learn something. So smash the like button for sure. Follow along and Snake.
Tomorrow night we're going to learn that we're in trouble either way.
Oh my God, what a mess! What a mess! But listen, Snake and I tonight are going to break down. We're going to talk about ADP. Kind of when to plant your flag, when to avoid ADP, stuff like that. And we're going to break down this draft that we did together or against each other, I guess you could say, the other night. This is a Las Vegas Fantasy Championship mid-stakes team here, 350 over at the FFWC. And I drafted out of the 4-hole team green. Scott loves putting me in these and giving me all these sarcastic Celtics names or whatever. Tonight, I think I'm in the 10 p.m. I'm thinking like the Knicks are coming for you or something like that. He loves to hate my Celtics, but I was team green in this, and Snake is always Snake, right? You never change your name when you go in the draft room.
No, that's my namesake. That's who I've been since junior high school. That's my nickname. I can't shake that.
I
It's
love
in
it.
my bloodstream, flowing in my DNA. I would have to
Right.
get, a Keith Richards like blood transfusion to get that out of my bloodstream.
Well, listen, snakes are cold-blooded, aren't they? So I don't know. Maybe you're cold-blooded in this draft room here, but
Oh yeah, I might have been a little bit
that's
cold-blooded,
right.
but I think I had a little bit of assistance in terms of this specific draft. And you know the reason why?
Why? Well, why is that?
Well, the old adage, timing is everything in life.
Absolutely.
Okay. So in this particular draft, I was blessed with a 6 hole.
Yep.
Everybody from 1 to 5, including yourself, Adam, by my estimation, because I take note of these things, has been in either 2 or more drafts this year.
Yep.
And everybody from 6 over, where I am, is either their first draft or only their second draft,
Yeah.
as opposed to 3 or more, I'm saying.
Yep. Yeah. No, I get it.
So, you kind of you feel the flow of the draft if you've been in a few. And the first time you're in, I know the first draft I did this year and every year, I'm a little bit rusty.
Yeah.
First draft.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, could you tell when Team 11 went 4 straight running backs that it was their first? Now, I will say, Fozzie, Jeremy Brock, Fozzie Dog usually in these is a very experienced drafter, and he went with 4 running backs one time, but it's very difficult to do. And we'll talk about a lot of these teams, but at the FFWC, this mid stakes, Circa Las Vegas, you start 2 running backs, you start 3 receivers and 2 flex. So generally, you will see receivers fly off the board. It's almost impossible to get away with 4 running backs, especially when Zamir White is your RB4 in the 4th round. But we'll talk about that more later. But I started off with a hero RB build. I went Breece Hall. I could certainly see Breece Hall being the RB1 this season. If McCaffrey and Hall are healthy, I would certainly put my money on McCaffrey to be the RB1 if they play the same amount of games. But McCaffrey's a little bit older, a little bit more run down. So I do like the odds for Breece Hall to be the RB1 this season for sure. So that's the route that I went at the 104. At 107, are we the 6 or 7? You were the 107.
7?
Yeah. You took Garrett Wilson, who I absolutely love this year. Tell the people why you love Garrett Wilson.
For many of the same reasons you love Garrett Wilson. But before I say that, I think you're in a better position being in 4 than 1, because I wouldn't want to be, hogtied to having to pick McCaffrey as the running back. And I know the same statement is made every year since he got injured, but 3 years ago, and he's been okay since then.
Yes.
But, you make a good point with Breece Hall over McCaffrey, and I think it's a safer, more secure comfort zone place to be at 4 or 5 when you can look at Breece or Bijan as opposed to McCaffrey at number 1. I don't want to be in that one spot this year. Actually, it scares me.
Dude, I totally agree, and I usually never have to worry about it because you only have a 1 of 12 chance of getting it, dude. I've been doing so many of I don't care if I'm doing one of these smaller best ball type of things, but I've been getting the 101 in some of these mid stake stuff way more than I want, especially this early in the year. And I've taken McCaffrey because I'm a high volume player. So if I want my McCaffrey shares in order to get him, you usually got to take him at the 101. Sometimes I got him at the 103 one time. Yeah. But you usually to get him, you got to get him at the 101. So, but I'm with you. You don't want to fade him. So when you're there, you got to take him, but then you just, it just kind of feels gross.
Yeah, no, actually I did the draft with you before this one where you did take McCaffrey at 103, I believe it was. You're right.
Okay.
But it felt gross last year. So maybe it's deja vu all over again, because as long as the man can stay on the field, you can't argue against taking him number 1. But having said that, the guard changes every year, and I wouldn't mind Breece Hall or Bijan as an anchor running back. I think you made the right call there.
But yeah, tell me about Garrett Wilson. I want to hear your thoughts on Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, I feel the same way that you do. A year ago we said we had this conversation a year ago to the day almost. We were so high on him. I was actually after Jefferson and Tyreek and Lamb. Actually, I did well on Lamb last year. I picked him to be ahead of Tyreek, to be honest. But I also had Garrett pretty high last year, and I got burned because we all know why. I mean, the whole world knows why. But I'm in on him for the same reasons this year. I worry about the offensive line, of course. I think I tell you what, Adam, honestly, if I were picking in the World Championship League and then all the loot was on the line, I would take Garrett Wilson as my first wide receiver on the board.
I freaking love that. I think in the magazine coming out, in fact, I think that's my I wrote. Again, it's hitting shelves in July 2nd. I think I should Scott throw that in that chat so we're gonna announce that right. I think the magazine's coming out July 2nd. I think I put in there like my big breakout or my pick like that was that Garrett Wilson was going to be a top 3 receiver this season. And I could absolutely see him as
why not top 1? Why not at the top?
Right, exactly. And that's why I'm happy that you said it, because
but again, it's contingent. He's tied at the hip to Rodgers staying healthy and the Jets offensive line play. But sheer talent and opportunity, I'll argue that he has it more than any other wide receiver that you're looking at in the first or second round there.
I know. He was so good, over 1,000 yards with the worst quarterback you'll ever see. And not much start. I mean, he's got Mike Williams there, but Mike Williams might help. He's not going to start the season. He'll probably be on the pup, and then he'll help with the defenses. And Rodgers loves locking into that number 1 wideout. Think Devontae Adams for years and years. And so that's the type of season I see Garrett Wilson having. So,
that's what we saw 1 year ago as well. But the best laid plans of mice and men off to go astray.
That's right.
So, hopefully Rodgers won't tear his Achilles or break a kneecap or ACL or whatever it might be, because the guy's getting up in age. So that is the risk component that's factored into Garrett Wilson, not very arguably being the first receiver off the board. Because if Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers of 5 years ago or more, it wouldn't even be a problem. I think Garrett would go first.
Yes. I completely agree with that.
Love Garrett Wilson. I'm with you. You and I agree on this. So
yeah, for sure.
Watch out for you down the road, actually, on that.
I know. Snake's taking notes over here for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So second round, you came back around, wide receiver 12, Jalen Waddle falls into your lap here. I'm a big Jalen Waddle guy. I struggle to have to take him in the mid-second round, but when the way receivers fly off the board here at the FFWC, it's almost like that's like the next receiver. Are you mixing? So you're a high volume guy, draft number 11. Is Waddle a flag plant guy for you, Snake? Or is he like, you know what? Last time I took London, the time before that I took Evans, or is he the guy that you absolutely love?
All right. So last year I had a bit of an off year. I mean, I finished 5th overall, one of my teams in the LVFC for 50K.
Yep.
But overall, my winning percentage was not where it used to be. So I went back and I did some research, like any smart, diligent owner would. And I suspected what I did was actually what I did. It confirmed that when I picked according to ADP, more or less, and who was available, as opposed to getting my guys, I didn't succeed. When I picked my guys and just said, fuck it. Fuck.
That's right. Yeah.
It went my way. For some reason, something was in my mind. I deterred off of everything that I preached the gospel on every year, Adam. I don't know what compelled me to do it. I really don't. But last year, I strayed. So to answer your question, I like Waddle ahead of Olave, ahead of Pittman, ahead of Evans, ahead of Nico, ahead of DJ Moore, all the receivers that went after him. I would have liked Drake London to fall to me, honestly, but I'll take Waddle over all the others after that. So I don't mind getting him in the middle second. Now, tell me why you wouldn't take him. What were the aforementioned receivers that I just said?
Yeah, so I really like Waddle. Let me pull up the board here again. So London was already gone. Evans, Pittman, Olave, Nico Collins. So honestly, the only receiver in this group I would take over him fairly consistently would probably be Mike Evans, only because obviously he's proven he's done it. He stays healthy year in and year out. But other than that, Snake, I would take Waddle. And this is I don't know if it's a bias or whatever, but I hate the idea of taking like wide receiver 12, especially so to me it's a flat. The cop out answer is it's a flat tier to me. The Waddle, Evans, Pittman, Olave, those guys, even Ayuk, I might have in there. Like, I feel like I'm a high volume guy too, not only high stakes. So I'm just going to take bits and pieces of all of them. But Waddle is definitely one of the guys that I like in there.
So in your group, I don't have the same players. I have one or two that you just aforementioned out of that group. I don't have them even for for reasons. I mean, Pittman's not in my group this year. I hit on Pittman big time last year.
Yeah.
But he's not in this year because the same guy that threw him a ton of passes, throughout the year, and he was peppered. He had a lot of targets. Is in a different team. It's not Gardner Minshew anymore. So I don't think. I mean, Pittman's a great receiver. He's a possession receiver. He got the majority of the targets. But it's a new game this year. It's a new quarterback, and things might change. So I'm not as high on Pittman or in that crowded Houston receiver core.
Yeah, Nico. I'm not as high on Nico either. Yeah, for sure.
So for me, the only one I considered there was Olave. And asset allocation and diversification. I mean, if you're a high volume drafter, yeah. I mean, you need to do some asset allocation and diversification in your portfolio with different players. I mean, let's be honest. But you know what? I'm going to ditch that theory a lot this year. I really am. And I'm going to do like 40 or so teams. I'm not going to try for so much, Adam, for asset allocation and diversification. I've now convinced myself that I'm going back to the old snake. Last year was kind of an outlier for me. No excuses. I didn't have a great season that I'm used to having. So the reason I think was because I wanted to asset allocate and diversify. It didn't work for me. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sticking to my guys.
Yeah.
Waddle's one of my guys.
Yeah, no, I totally respect it. My thing about Waddle too is that, like, with if Tyreek Hill's healthy, Waddle can't hit that ceiling that maybe a Mike Evans could, or an Olave could, or a Pittman could, because they are the number one guys. But I love, again, I think a healthy Waddle is a very safe pick. He's going to finish.
Well, I don't think he's only safe. I think Evans is the safer of the two that you mentioned than Waddle. He's probably has a lower floor. I mean, a higher floor. But Waddle arguably has a higher ceiling. So I like guys with higher ceilings as opposed to higher floors.
Yep.
When I draft.
Especially in these tournaments, right? You're shooting for the 50K, you're shooting for the the 200K, stuff like that. When you're shooting for these FFWC events, you got to shoot for the moon for sure.
I mean, you play to win. I mean, you either play for first place or you're in last place. In the middle doesn't mean anything. 6th or 7th place is bullshit. And you get a lot of, it's a pet peeve of mine. I'll go ahead and say it. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a lot of high stake drafters who do large volume plays, and they do asset allocate, and they do diversify, their portfolios of players, and their winning percentages aren't that great, for the most part. There's one specific guy who I don't even know if he does his homework on players. He just goes according to ADP. Who's ever there at the top of that list at any position, he'll pick based on value. And to me, I'm not a value picker. If I don't like a player, I don't care if he's 10 spots below his ADP or ahead of his ADP. Which one is it?
If you don't care if he's 10 spots past ADP,
right.
you're not taking him.
If I don't like him, and I got a guy who I like better, and his ADP is 5 or 6 or 7 below his, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm taking my guys. GYGD. Get your guys, damn it.
Absolutely. Who's a guy in the first 3 rounds here, Snake? Well, we'll get into. I just took Olave. I don't have much to say about him at the end of the second. I think he could be the guy here too and have a year. Plus, he was the kind of the guy there that I liked in that tier. But going into the 3rd round here, who's a guy that's in the first 3 rounds that's one of those guys for you? That's like, listen, I don't care if he's there for me in the late 3rd. I am not taking this guy.
Oh, there's a bunch of guys, and unfortunately, it's one of those that you picked, Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
Now you just said that the Houston backfield was crowded with Nico, so why did you pivot to Diggs? I'm curious here.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be 2 or 3 are going to hit. 2 of them are going to pay off at their ADP, but one's not. They can't. Just can't do it.
Yeah,
unless Stroud throws for 8,000 yards.
Which let me see. Do I have Stroud in this one? No, I don't.
Why? See, I think here's my theory, Adam. This is why you and I are different, and everybody who plays this game is different. We're all either sellers or buyers on specific players. We have the information that's out there. just like the two gentlemen that I aforementioned that are going to be debating tomorrow night.
That's right.
The information and / disinformation is out there in tons of volume. But it's up to you and I and other players to decipher that information. And you know what really fascinates me is what makes somebody a buyer on a specific player versus a seller. Is it their nature and nurture, aka their genetic predisposition and their life experiences? Or, I don't want to get too profound here or philosophical, but what makes somebody a buyer or seller when we all have access to the same damn information?
That's what makes it fun, right? I think we all look for certain things. We all like for example, with the Diggs, for an example, like I don't want the number one drafted. I don't want the highest drafted receiver in this class. And you're absolutely right. Two of these receivers are going to hit, but I think the thing about it is, I think two of them are going to hit differently.
Well, not just hit. Let's say justify their ADP. I think that's a better statement.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yes. Two of them are going to justify their ADP. My thing is, I think it's going to be a different, but when we're going to set a lineup, when we're going to like actually score fantasy points, I think it's going to be two of them a week. We just don't know which ones they're going to be. The odds are to me that it's going to be Diggs more consistently. And yeah, there'll be weeks where he's number 3, right? But I think more often than not, he'll be in the top 2. He'll be in that 2 that are going to hit. And I think
it'll be Diggs and Collins or Diggs and Dell, but Diggs is the most likely to be one of the 2.
That's a great way to put that. And so I mean, he's only 30. The offensive, I think, is going to be explosive. And again, we're talking wide receiver 21. Like, I think he can certainly do that there for them. I mean, and I do like Malik Neighbors a lot too. That's a great pick by you. We haven't gotten there yet. I have Malik Neighbors. I was taking him earlier than even this recently. So I did want to get some access to Diggs. So yeah, that's why I think he's going to be consistently in those top 2 receivers for them. And I think Scott put it really well on the show last week when he came on. He came on and he said, maybe like, are we just gonna be really stupid and like just be like, man, what was I thinking that Diggs wasn't going to be good in this offense? So, and he's gonna listen. I'm a Buffalo guy, man. Diggs plays with a chip on his shoulder. I think he's got something to prove.
He's a fantastic player. He's got the ability in the world. However, Nico Collins isn't too bad himself, and Tank Dell is a favorite target.
Agreed.
Of Stroud, especially when Dell and Collins were together. So Diggs is the new kid on the block. Arguably, he might be the odd man out. I don't know.
For sure. He could be. Yep. He could be for sure. And I'd much prefer him a little bit later. But again, at wide receiver 21, I think I'm okay there. Talk to me about Malik Neighbors.
Well, I thought you were going to take Neighbors. And when you took Diggs, I was kind of happy, to be honest with you. I was ecstatic because Neighbors has been going earlier than 3-7 in most recent drafts that I've done. And certainly Amari Cooper and Cooper Kupp, to name 2 receivers, have not been going before him. I don't know what the ADP states. I don't know if it's to the contrary or not, but that's my recollection of the way the order has been going on those 3 receivers. I mean, Neighbors, it's out there. The information's out there. I'll just be redundant and repeat it. He's got all the talent in the world. He's arguably on the same talent level with Marvin Harrison Jr., and he doesn't have to compete for targets with basically anybody. I mean, they've got no tight end. They've got Wan'Dale Robinson, who's, kind of a slot guy, a turn and shoot. Could be sneaky, by the way, Wan'Dale. But, he should be peppered with over 150 targets, and they need somebody like him. I'm a Giants fan. They haven't had anybody like Malik Neighbors since Odell Beckham. So I'm excited to watch him. I'm excited for the targets. I watch him, man. He's got that je ne sais quoi on the field. He looks good, man. He looks good.
Yeah, I think he's got that Odell Beckham to him, like you said. I think Sean says if you really want a champion, person to call the top dog, we need to have a tournament, or basically a single entry tournament. I think that's a great idea for sure. I know some places do have that, and that's a lot of times you just turn those into hey, it's not a tournament, but it's a high stakes league. It's a $2,000 league or it's a $5,000 league, because that's how you can really get one entry in there. It's hard for sites are businesses too, and they got to make money. It's hard to do a single entry thing, but I completely agree, man. I think I do high volume, not because I have to because I need to. I'm an addict. I have to draft every day.
You're an addict and I'm a junkie. So we have something
right.
in common.
I'm an addict and I love doing it. That's why I do it. I don't do it because I think I need to. I do it, you know what I mean? Like I gotta draft all the time.
I think it's a brilliant idea. That would really that would separate the champs
men
from the pretenders, no?
The men from the boys, exactly. But no, I completely agree. But yeah, Neighbors, stud. I love him. I love him there for sure. You come back around and I see you went 0 RB build here. Zay Flowers. You would come back with Zay, wide receiver 26 off the board. Maybe a little bit late for him there too. Were you excited to get there?
Absolutely. Categorically and unequivocally, that's late for Zay. I can guarantee you that's the latest that Zay's gone. And then I made stakes 50K draft. I mean, look at the guys that went before him. Debo and Metcalf usually don't go before Zay. And the ones that I've done, again, this is my sixth. This was number 6 on the OC. This $350 entry draft. So when he was there, I was ecstatic. There was, because I usually would take 2 other guys at that spot that I was expecting. So I would, Zay Flowers was a gift. It was given to me.
Are you high on the Ravens offense this year? Derrick Henry could come into town. Andrews getting healthy. What's your thought there?
Yeah, man. I mean, I am high on the Ravens passing game. I mean, what's there not to be high on? I mean, Rashad Bateman, who was a favorite of mine in previous years,
me too,
and a favorite of yours, hasn't shown much. So outside of the tight end, who's Flowers can show he could ball last year. He made a stupid play in the championship game, but
I know, but he's so good. I mean, yeah, it was a stupid play, but whatever. He's a rookie receiver. He's electric. I really like him there for sure. I come back with Higgins, who I love at wide receiver 20. I mean, Higgins was a guy that would every year would go with the 2-3 turn, or even last year was going like mid to late second round. Like nothing's really changed. I mean, and so I like him as wide receiver 28 back in the same offense. Joe Burrow at quarterback. He's going to get single coverage. Yes, he's going to miss games 100%, but I'll take him as my wide receiver 3, wide receiver 28. So I really like that.
I'm with you. I concur wholeheartedly because Higgins was a guy I took a lot last year. The Bengals were a mess last year.
I know.
Actually, we did one world championship draft so far in the FFWC, the real high stakes league. And then Higgins is on my team. I think Higgins, he's playing for loot this year. He's franchise tagged. So he's got a lot to play for, extra incentive. I think Higgins, people are scared of him for some reasons because, they think that he's not motivated to play and he doesn't like being second dog to Chase. And they're jealous of, they think he's like jealous of Burrow and Chase's relationship because they used to be former teammates at LSU. Then there's all these like negative kind of connotations that go around Higgins. It scares some people off, but not me. And I think you made a great pick. As a matter of fact, I expected it to either be Higgins or Pickens instead of Zay for me. So I like your first, second, and fourth pick. I just question your third one a little bit with Diggs.
No, yeah, that is fine for sure. And again, it's we broke that down. But yeah, Higgins, I feel like he's motivated and he's still good and he's still young. Like I really like it.
Adam. I think the Bengals this year
could be it. Could be the year. Yeah.
Houston's not going to repeat what they did last year, and the Bears are still green behind the ears a little bit. They're wet behind the ears of green. I think the Bengals are that offensive team this year that smokes.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
Burrow's a stud. And the thing that I love about Burrow is that all the fantasy points for Burrow go to everybody else. He's not a running quarterback. So if you're in that Bengals offense, you're getting all the fantasy points from him. He's not stealing goal line, push touchdowns. You know what I mean? He's not scrambling and all this. It's going to go all through those receivers. And there's only like the 2 top alpha dogs here. Let's skip forward a little bit. So I took Patrick Mahomes, and listen, I respect your game, Snake, and you were all over me last year about Mahomes, and you were 100% right. You were 100% right. He was a bust. You couldn't even start him down the stretch.
Had a bad feeling. Snake sense was not feeling it.
The snake sense. Where are you on Mahomes this year? Because I feel more confident in Mahomes now than I ever have, and I love taking him at QB3 in the 6th round.
I agree.
Thank you.
I'm much higher on Patrick this year. Obviously, he's got added weapons. He's got Marquise Hollywood Brown. He's got Worthy through the draft. Rice, of course, is a question mark. He could be suspended 2 games or 10 games or anywhere in between. But all in all, Patrick is surrounded by a much better cast. So I have no problem with Patrick Mahomes going in the 5th round for you to say. You know what? 6th round?
Yeah.
That's even better. Yeah. My bad.
No,
no, absolutely. That's even better. I don't get a quarterback in the 5th. I start getting quarterbacks in the 6th, personally. But so I think you got him perfect. You waited on a quarterback. He's the 2nd one. That was a good pick. Solid.
Yeah, so I got him as QB3 when Hurts, Allen, Mahomes. And I got to be honest, I'm kind of shocked people aren't higher on Mahomes than, all the things you said are so obvious, right? Like he's got a bunch of weapons, Hall of Fame coach. Like, do they think it's going to be a Super Bowl hangover? Like, I don't understand. Like they've just won it a bunch of times in a row. I don't know, man. I love Mahomes as QB3 for sure. I agree.
Maybe Mahomes has become maybe he's not as sexy as he used to be.
Right. Yeah. Could
has no sex appeal.
Maybe it's old news, man.
As opposed to Allen or Hurts, maybe the tush push, and Josh is a stud all around. Maybe Mahomes is losing his sex appeal.
Well, I don't know about it. Maybe Travis Kelce's stealing it all and going to the concerts with it. Who knows? But yeah, that's right. So you come back around and you take JSN, wide receiver 41. I absolutely love JSN. Remember way back in the day, as far back as last year, that we used to just blindly take wide receivers in their 2nd year because that's the breakout year. There's not really there's nothing really sticky except for like wide receivers break out in year 2, and you should just take them because that's when they break out. That's where I am with JSN. I think he's talented. I don't think he's a superstar talent, but I think he's very talented. Again, comes out of a school that produces receivers in Ohio State. I think that year 2, wide receiver 4 for 41, he was starting to come on last season. New offensive coordinator there. What do you think?
What I think is that this is what aforementioned. This is the quintessential example of GYGD. Get your guys, damn it. Because Njigba has really, I got him way before ADP, maybe a full round, arguably. He's been going mid to late 7. However, look at the receivers that went after him. Christian Watson, Deontay, who I like. Watson scares me. I can't see the rest of the board.
Oh, sorry. I'll pull it up here. Yeah.
No, just scroll it to the right. Yeah. But the receivers that all went after JSN, okay, Sutton, Deontay, Watson, Thomas, and Worthy. For me, this is my rankings. I've got JSN above them. And it's not in line with consensus, but I don't give a fuck about consensus.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like JSN over all of them. Also,
you do?
I do. I like him over. I was in on Deontay Johnson early, but I don't know, dude. Like he's a target monster, but I just think the quarterback there is just so bad, and I want to bet against that quarterback, and I want to get a bet against that offense. And the same thing with Cortland Sutton, that type of thing. And I don't know if I believe in Coleman's breakout yet. Njigba could be the number. Lockett is old. He's 31. He's undersized. Like he's gonna miss games. It's Njigba's time, man. It's Njigba's time to step up. New offensive coordinator. I think he's gonna have a really good year. And even if he doesn't completely break out, I think beating wide receiver 41 numbers, I think it should be really.
He's my wide receiver 5 here. I didn't want to pass him up. I'm not going to see. I could have easily passed him up for Aaron Jones, arguably. So, if someone's looking at the board, they can make the argument justifiably so that, why is he picking JSN there? He could have got Aaron Jones and then come back with, I can't see the board, but who went after Njigba? Coleman or any of or Jameson Williams. I didn't look to build that way. Again, I'm a man of my convictions. I play to win, and I don't give a shit about ADP. I really don't. I let people snicker and sneer when I pick guys that are full round or a round and a half, and they call it a reach. I don't call it a reach. I don't believe in that.
Yeah, no, we were talking about that today. Like, listen, in this world, and now it's only June still, right? People are still kind of making their way through the projections and the analytics and the profiles and who to flag play. Like, a lot of people don't even have like true flag plants yet. They're just kind of making their way through here and doing these drafts. But dude, once it gets to high stakes season and the main events and the FFWC World Championships and the big money season, that's where you really start to see the ADP shift and people go get their guys. Diversifying the portfolio season's over. It's
Absolutely.
Go play for the big dollars and get your guys season. Like in August.
Absolutely. But again, Adam, I'm not doing that this year.
Correct.
Even as a volume drafter, I'm not. So again, this is the quintessential example of me getting my guy right here in JSN. And I'm surprised you like him ahead of the receivers that I took him ahead of, because most people I don't think would concur with our opinion here.
Yeah, not based on ADP. That's for darn sure. You know what I mean? So we'll definitely see how that starts to work out. Now I see you went with a heavy 0 RB build. Is that your are you a 0 RB guy? Is that your build in this one? Do you plan on doing that more this season? Like what are your thoughts?
Categorically and unequivocally not. There's more than 9 ways to skin a cat and many ways to win. 0 RB is just one of them. Did I go into this draft thinking 0 RB? No, I never go into any single draft with a particular strategy in mind. I just let the draft come to me and the pieces fall where they may. So I'm sitting here in the middle and I'm picking off, Neighbors in the 3rd. I'm thinking, hey, I'm getting Flowers in the 4th. I'll take Kincaid in the 5th. And now I'm looking at BPA. And when it comes to, I don't redundant. I got JSN. So that's the way the draft fell for me. I didn't want Aaron Jones. I didn't want Warren. To me, DeAndre Swift is Warren and Aaron Jones, or arguably even more upside. So I'll take DeAndre Swift and JSN as opposed to Aaron Jones and Watson, or any combination of Aaron Jones and any receiver that went after JSN. Because for me, those guys are they're atop of my board. I want my guys. I'm living or dying by my guys. I'm not going by ADP. I'm not asset allocating. I'm not diversifying. I did that. I don't know. I got sidetracked last year. I did that shit for some reason. I went against my snake sense, which is, it was against my instinct, my innate, inherent instinct. And I didn't like the way the results played out. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm not going to get caught in that trap, Adam.
No, I get it for sure. DeAndre Swift is an interesting player for me. Like, I want to love DeAndre Swift. I had him a lot last year, taking him late, and then he ends up hitting for Philly. But he kind of fell off towards the end of the year. He had like that big breakout. Was it week 2 or week 3 last season? And then disappointed quite a bit.
Week one he played. He was great week 1.
Was it week 1? Okay, whatever week it was.
Yeah, didn't they play early on Thursday, the first game of the year, was it?
Yeah, I thought yeah, I can't remember. I thought it was week 2.
It looked good.
Might have been week 1, but anyways, he kind of faded off towards the end of the year there, and it's always interesting to me when a team lets a player walk and then brings in another running back. Chicago has a lot of mouths to feed. Rookie quarterback, is he going to throw the ball to Swift? Because I think Swift's value is in the passing game, and are they going to? Because Philly's a beautiful spot. I like Saquon this year because of the situation. And DeAndre Swift was in that same situation last year, and they let him walk. I just don't know. The coaching staff for the Lions hated him, and then Jahmyr Gibbs comes in and lights it up. Obviously, Gibbs is better, but even Montgomery was better than Swift was in there. So I just don't know how good DeAndre Swift is. And so
they're all valid points, and Swift is not one of my the guys that
flag plant guys, right?
And they're all valid points. But I tell you what, if I'm going 0 RB and I'm looking at the other options, it's Najee, Montgomery, Connor. So I'm a fence swinger, man. I'm going for a home run. So, I'm either going to hit a home run or I'm going to strike out, a la Babe Ruth. I don't mind. If I strike out, I'm in last place. If I hit a home run, I'm in the money. I'm in the playoffs, first or second or third. So,
definitely higher ceiling. Yeah, he definitely has a higher ceiling because of that offense could be really good. And if they do pass him the ball, he could be really good too, for sure.
Well, they're all good points, and they're all valid. I mean, he did not succeed in Philly, and it was an ideal situation with the offensive line. So that it's a little bit scary. Plus, he's got two guys breathing down his neck who can play also, in Herbert and Roshan. So we'll see what happens. But Swift in the 7th for upside. I'm going upside.
Definitely. Joe Burrow.
You got Pitts in the 7th round, by the way, which I thought. You talk about the tight ends. I'm going to give you some kudos and accolades here. Pitts is the 6th tight end off the board, and you got him a full 2 rounds, a round and 3/4, right? After the other 6 or other 5 went off, correct?
Yes, yeah. Andrews went 5 to like a round and a half, a full round and a half. Yeah,
exactly. And that's forget about the value because I don't care about value drafting, but I like Pitts. And if you can get him a full round and a half, which I guess is inherent with value, but if you can get him a round and a half later than the aforementioned McBride, Laporta, Kincaid, and Kelsey, I think that's a good coup there. That's a coup d'etat, actually. That would qualify as a coup d'etat.
Coup
They
d'etat.
want to recruit you to Haiti, where they have more coup d'etats on an annual basis than any other country in the entire Caribbean or worldwide, arguably. Adam, I think you would make a good Haiti.
Yeah, that's right. Me and Kyle Pitts might be Haitian from I know. Who knows? Tight end 6, Kyle Pitts. I have a Kyle Pitts jersey. I've always been a Kyle Pitts fan. I think this is finally the year. The offense is different. The coach is different. All that stuff. I mean, I think he went for 1,000 yards his rookie year. I think he's just too talented. He was hurt last year. So I think I'm back on the Kyle Pitts band.
No, we all know the story, but you know what? What makes us either back on the bandwagon or a masochist to keep coming back for more punishment? So, I'm with you. I'm with Pitts. I drafted Pitts a lot last year. He hurt me a lot. I thought it would change. I thought actually Ritter was an upgrade from Mariota, but it didn't turn to be the case. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I kept telling myself last year. Like you can't be worse than Mariota. You can't be worse than Mariota. And then
he was.
And Arthur Smith is a clown. And so, it was just the perfect. And again, Pitts was hurt. Like you see those videos coming out of training camp where he's like can barely get in and out of his routes. Like I think
he didn't look right. He didn't look right when he was playing. You could tell. Same thing with Bateman. That's a completely different story. But those guys play hurt. Some of them play hurt. I'm not a masochist. If I believe in a guy, I'll come back for him. And why would I not draft Pitts, or why would you not draft Pitts if you believed in him before and he had a shit situation and now he's got a much better situation,
right?
Close to ideal, arguably. Why would you not stay on him now, as opposed to now's the time to take a shot on him and stay?
He's cheaper than ever. It's not even like his price went up; his price went down, and so you got to get in on it.
Pitts is in the same group for me with Kincaid, Kelsey, Laporta, and McBride,
for sure,
and Andrews. He's in that same group. It's no drop off in tiers there for me. I've got them all pretty much the same, and that's why I'll never take Laporta in the 3rd round. I don't think there's much of a difference between a Laporta or a McBride in the 4th as opposed to Pitts in the 7th. So I think that's probably your best pick of the draft.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I definitely was happy to get him there. Joe Burrow, I know it's one of your favorite picks in the draft here for yourself. QB9. I mean, going after guys like Dak Prescott, going after Kyler Murray. I mean, when he's healthy, it's a top 4 or 5 QB, right? Right, Snake?
Handsome Joey B is my favorite football player in the league.
There you go. Yep.
And, I'm a big Bengals fan just because of Joey B. I'm a Giants fan first, but I'm a Bengals fan second. I love Joey B's game. I think he's got all the talent in the world. He had it in college. He had it in the pros. He's just been unfortunate with injuries. He's been very unfortunate in recent years. And this year, knock on wood, so far so good. Again, I think the Bengals are going to be the top offensive scoring team in the league this year. I'll go out on a limb and say it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that take. Now, I noticed, where are you with stacking? It's not best ball. I noticed you didn't take Tua. Well, you might have taken him later, but you didn't plan on. You took Geno. She did snack in Jigba. You didn't take Tua. You didn't take Rodgers. You didn't take Wilson. I mean, those guys aren't very good. You had a chance at Lamar. Do you not care about stacking? Is best ball is the only spot where you do that? Like where
playing best ball naturally, we all know that stacking is the way to go. I think it's overrated. it doesn't really, doesn't float my boat. It doesn't really get me turned on.
Yeah.
I'm picking the best guys. I'm going with the draft. I'm not necessarily looking at the stack. Why would I pass up a guy that I think is a better scorer for a stack, which might or might not hit? I don't believe in that. I just don't think it's necessarily a good strategy to have. What are the stats on success rates for stats versus non-stacks? Are there any studies out there that really give you?
Yeah, I think for best ball, it definitely makes sense. And I think
best ball, of course, best ball is different.
Yeah, for sure. I think for these bigger tournaments, I think the idea, but you really have to combine the stacking with like you want to stack. So for most people listening know what stacking is, but it's like taking a quarterback with with 2 or 3 of their offensive weapons. I think the idea is you get them, and then you get a stack, you get into these big championship rounds, these money rounds, and that if your quarterback's going to hit, his receivers are going to hit too, so you want his receivers. But it really depends on, like, if you're playing in these tournaments, how the tournaments work. Is it a 3-week race? Is it week by week advancement? I know in the FFWC it's a 3-week race, and some of it's a 5-week race too. But it really depends on like their schedule. Is it indoors? Is it outdoors? What defenses do they play against? Because if you're just going to stack a team that's going to face, the Ravens, or 3 straight weeks of really tough defenses, then you probably don't want to stack them. So I think I don't think it certainly doesn't play as much value in a lineup setting league than it does.
You're living or dying by the sword, kind of putting your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
But again, I would really like to know, not in a best ball league. Best ball is a different animal. But in the redraft leagues, I would love to have some numbers, and I've never seen them anywhere. On stacked number 1 wide receivers and quarterbacks versus, a Burrow and a Chase versus a Stroud and a Neighbors. I would love to see some numbers on whether or not stacks are ultimately successful in redraft leagues.
Yeah, I think it depends on the stack, and I think it depends on the situation. Like I said, who they're playing against. I definitely don't force stacks. I just brought it up because I saw that you had taken Burrow and no other receivers with him, which is fine because I took Mahomes. I don't think I took any Chiefs either. So I didn't. Yeah, I don't think you necessarily have to do it for sure. Spears
you went Pollard.
I was just gonna say Spears versus Pollard. You took Spears. I took Pollard much earlier. Where are you on that backfield?
Which one? Both of them. Okay, the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have a coin in your pocket?
Yeah, right.
Flip it.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll take the guy 2 rounds later. I know. I totally get it. Yep, totally get it. Yeah. And I think they're both very, very talented, and I think either of them are fine. How about handcuffing, Snake? I would say, hey, would you ever consider taking Pollard and Spears? Handcuffing is different than stacking. Are you opposed to it?
Depends on the specific players and team. It depends on. But were you thinking about taking Spears?
No, I wasn't. I'm thinking more of like, So I mean, this is not off topic. We're talking fantasy, but like I kind of like stacking Kyren Williams with Blake Corum this year, which is what Riverdog did. Because I feel like in that situation, because here's the thing with Pollard and Spears, if they're both there and both playing or whatever, like you don't know, like you said, flip a coin. You don't know what's going to happen. I think with the Rams, Kyron's going to be the guy every week. And if he gets hurt, then Corum's going to be the guy every week. And so I like the idea of knowing that, like, yeah, maybe I wasted a 9th round pick on a guy that's not going to get any points. But if your starter goes down, I think personally, Corum is a better running back than Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams also missed 5 games last season. Like, he's not some workhorse. So I think that Corum, if he gets the opportunity, and I know it's not optimal, right? They always talk about, well, just don't take Kyren, take Corum. And then when Kyren gets hurt, now you didn't lose anything. You took Derrick Henry and you've got Corum. Now you got 2 backs. You could do that too. And I do that too. But if I do take Kyren, because I don't want to fade Kyren Williams, because I think when he plays, he's going to be a top 5 or 6 running back because McVay loves to use them as workhorses. But I also don't want to get stuck without a running back for 6 weeks because it's not optimal to handcuff your running backs. I like that type of situation, Kyren Williams and Blake Corum.
I completely concur. This
Yeah.
is the perfect example for when you want to stack your backup with Kyren and Corum here, and especially because McVay does lean on workhorse running backs. So yeah, in this case, I would stack running backs coming back.
Which is funny because that was a topic I was going to bring up, and then I looked and I'm like, oh wait a minute, they did exactly that. How funny!
I think that's a smart move.
Yeah,
I think those two specific players. It's not the same with a Connor and a Benson necessarily.
Agreed.
You know, it's not the same with a Kamara and a Kendry Miller. You know, it is the same with a Warren and another Harris, however. But so it depends on the team and the players. It is with Gibbs and Montgomery, but no one stacks those guys. You know, there's too much value at too high a price, so you're going to get different players as opposed to a stack of running backs like that. There.
Yeah, exactly. Another one too that's kind of sneaky is I like Miami's backfield, man. I like taking Achane and then taking. I don't like taking Mostert. I like taking. I'm drawing blank.
Right.
Yes, right. Because again, it's a situation where two running backs smash in that offense weekly, and if Mostert, like, I'm happy to bet against a 33-year-old running back staying healthy. I'm perfectly happy to do that. So I love taking Achane. And Wright, or just Wright. Like, I love taking just Corum or just Wright, knowing that, hey, one injury, dude, you know how it is, man. These running backs drop like flies. I mean, last season, my best FFWC team, I was in first place.
I remember
halfway through Sunday for $200,000, and that was an Achane Kyren Williams team, and that was because I took those guys late. And the guys got injured at the stars, and now you have a super team. You're trying to build super teams in these tournaments, and you do it by drafting these handcuffed running backs and then get injuries to those starters.
Yeah. I mean, I remember
I was sweating bullets, and then my team died. I think that guy came in I think Zay Flowers was the only guy who did anything Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I ended up coming in 18th or something stupid.
Yeah, you were right there in the last thing. And I mean, that's the 3-week run in
that's the
playoffs.
Run.
I mean, you need a lot of luck in that one. It's not the 14-week regular game season where I think it's a better predictor of the kind of talent you have on your team. 3 weeks is a coin flip. It's a horse race.
For sure. Yeah, you got to have a lot of luck. And listen, speaking of luck, you don't need luck if you're going to win tonight's draft. Everybody jump in. I got a handful of spots left for tonight's Circa Las Vegas Fantasy Championship. It goes off at 10 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be done here in a couple minutes. Everyone jump off. Get in that draft. Playing for $50K mid-stakes draft. It's a loaded room tonight. So everybody get in there, join that thing. Let's get this thing kicked off. Snake, we got a couple more minutes. Let's go through kind of the end. Maybe not just this draft, but what are you looking to do at the back end, of these mid-stakes drafts? Are you a guy that's looking at some of these free? I know people like to load up their last couple picks with some of these free looks, right? What do we got? We got the Thursday night game, the Friday night game. So we got Chiefs. We've got, I'm drawing a blank on some
Ravens.
Yeah, Chiefs, Ravens.
Ravens. Friday night is what? I don't.
Is it Packers? No, I'll look it up.
But to answer your question, I don't look to load up for a free look for 1 week. You've got this team the whole year. You've got 17 weeks, including the playoff. I don't care about a free look for a few players in week 1. I know that that's contrary to popular opinion amongst other players, but it's a moot point. I don't care about free looks for 1 week.
I kind of like to do it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, not load up. I mean, maybe take to me, it's a tiebreaker between players, because the idea that in these we have to set our lineups, right? And the idea to have
you tied to that pick for the whole year, though.
Yeah, but you're not keeping your 16th round pick the whole year. I mean, let's see who some of these picks are. Kendrick Bourne, you know what I mean? Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
No, but what does that have to do with the first? Oh, okay.
I'm saying take a Chief or I'm not saying just take some random one. You know what I mean?
But you're talking. I mean, would you take Worthy over a receiver like
No, I'm not going to
like Watson or Njigba, you wouldn't take him just for the free look.
Agreed. Correct. No. It's to me, it's just a tiebreaker, or also like, hey, if you're taking dart throws kind of at the end of the season, I'm sorry, at the end of the draft, you're taking dart throws, like you just go ahead and like take a Chief, or I think it's the Eagles too. I'm trying to find the schedule here quick, but yeah, I kind of like doing that. But
you like the free look, huh?
I do, because when you have to set your lineup, I mean, some random dude could pop in, some random player could pop in for a touchdown, and you know how hard it is to set these lineups, man, especially with all these different flex.
Yeah, it helps, but it's 2 players, 3 players 1 week, and then you've got 16 more to go, and you're, make sure they're your guys that you want,
right.
They got to be the guys you want. I don't put much faith in. I don't even look at free looks when I draft.
Packers, Eagles. Packers, Eagles.
Packers, Eagles. You were right with Packers. You had half of it.
Yeah.
Packers, Eagles.
Packers,
Isn't that game in Brazil? That's in Brazil? No.
It is. No, it is. I think it's in Rio. Yeah, it's in Brazil.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, dude,
it's a great town, by the way, if you ever get a chance.
Oh, I would love to listen.
Smoking town.
Oh my! I'm talking about going to Vegas to watch this game. Maybe I'll go to Rio instead and watch this game.
I'd take Rio over Vegas in a heartbeat.
There you go.
Trust me, I've been to both places.
We'll have to talk about some of those stories offline here, Snake.
Indeed, we shall.
Are you going to Vegas this year?
You asked me that last year. Snake in Vegas is a toxic combination.
It's a toxic.
Not only is it toxic, it actually has the propensity to be a lethal combination. I don't know if I make it out of there. It's not good for me, man.
Stay away. It's not for everybody. That's for sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
Especially when we're trying to treat it like a business trip. You know what I mean? It's difficult when you got all the fun and games going on, but.
Well, some people can handle it. There's other people that are. You mentioned before you were a junkie, right? And you an athlete. This guy was a junkie. So if you've got an addictive personality, Vegas can ruin your drafts.
Yeah, that's it too. I'll be honest with you. Like, you gotta, like, last year I drafted at Topgolf for the FFWC there in Vegas, and it was I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely distracting. You've got. Everyone's there. You're having a good time. You're having drinks. You're eating food. Then you got the golf right outside. People are golfing. It's like, man, how do I now? Granted, it was my last draft of the year. It was the Friday night. It was a Friday night. Maybe I did one Saturday too. But anyways, it was my last FFWC World Championship draft of the year. You know me. I'm 500 drafts in. I can draft almost blindly at that point, but it's still distracting. Like, you want to it's $2,000 for these teams, or $1,500, depending on how many drafts you do. Like, you still want to put a good effort in, and Vegas can be distracting. But dude, I'm telling you, the time out there. Shout out to Scott and Ian; they do such an incredible job. It's definitely. I've been to all the events for all the draft sites out there, and it's by far the best one is through the FFWC. You have to go. The people are friendly. Like, you get to meet everybody that we podcast with and all that type of stuff.
I would love to go. If I could trust myself, I would love to go.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I think that they should go. I heard it was awesome.
Yeah,
I'd love to do it someday. You know when I'll go to Vegas, Adam? When I get the $150,000 check, I'm going to make that trip to Vegas.
I'll meet you there.
In every other damn position from 2 to 10.
I know.
You can think of. The number one spot's been elusive. But what was I going to say? I forgot. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm for everyone else who out there is watching. Definitely, if you get a chance, draft live, come out there and hang out with everybody, because it's such a good time. Now we have a Friday night game to watch out there too. All right. So last question I wanted to ask you about this. Let me see what you took here at the
Adam,
end.
by the way, are we going to be masochists this year and come back for Bateman?
Yes.
And Judy?
Yes, I love Jerry Jeudy as a player, and I want it. So tell me more about Jeudy. Too many mouths to feed there in Cleveland. Amari Cooper, Njoku, Elijah Moore, who was a guy I loved last year that completely busted.
He took a nasty ass hit when he got the concussion last year.
That's true too. Jerry Jeudy there, they traded for him, right? I don't think he wasn't a free ad. They traded for him, so maybe they love him. I just don't know if I trust Deshaun Watson, but I'm coming back for Bateman because he's free, and they've really been talking him up.
Yeah.
But what do you think? I think I'm in on Bateman and maybe on the fence on Judy.
I agree with you on Bateman because he's going in the 14th round.
Yep.
And, the other players around him in the 14th round aren't nearly as talented. But
wide receiver 79. I mean, come on.
Gee. Boy, how far the mighty have fallen. Huh?
I know.
As if he ever was mighty to begin with. He was in college and his first year.
Good.
He was hurt last year. In his defense, he was hurt, just like Kyle Pitts. And I don't know if you have the eye where you can see somebody running routes and you just know they're not 100%.
Right. No,
that was the case with Bateman last year. I could just tell he was hurt. He wasn't right.
Yeah. No, completely. He's got that foot, that toe. But again, I'll take a shot at him at wide receiver 79 for sure.
Yeah, as far as Judy's concerned, I'm with you too. I've been drafting some other wide receivers around his ADP, but I'm not as high or low on him. But because he's not as cheap as Bateman. Judy goes in like round 10.
Yeah, but Judy's a guy that, I mean, you know how this works, right? It's June. You and I both got our eye on him. We got a little pin in him, and let's see how training camp goes. Let's see how the injuries go. Let's see what the team's saying, how his attitude's like. I mean, listen, this is a guy that still wants to get paid. He's good and he wants to get paid. Like that's a big motivator. Look at T. Higgins. Look at these guys. Like they want to get paid. They want to at least get that one big payday.
Are you talking about Judy right now? Because Judy got paid $52 million for 3 years.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he got his.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So on the flip side of that, like at least that shows that Cleveland believes in him, right? Like they believe in that.
That's the argument to be made. Just like with Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, that's a great point with Ramondre.
Yeah, people feel better after that, And I like Ramondre. I'm been a Stevenson fan for since the beginning. I think he's a value pick right now. There's another running back who's a hell of a value pick right now because of all the recent noise that's coming out. I'm not listening to it or believing it. You know what? Should I mention his name, Adam, or not?
Whatever you want to do. I don't know if you want to give too much away, but
right now it's like the bubonic plague, the Black Death. That basically had 25% of Europe succumb to it. We all know the news that's coming out of Denver about Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
I'm in.
You're in. He's going as RB31 in this draft. Yeah, I can't say no to it, man. I think in the right build, you go receiver heavy early. I mean, you took, let me see. I'm trying to see. You took Brian Robinson over him, but you're going to have pieces of him. I
like Brian better, but I have a lot of Javonte already.
Yeah.
Hey, I got him in the 10th round.
I know. Yeah, this one, RB31. There's going to be running backs in this range. Pollard, Benson, Javonte. You even got the ghost of Austin Eckler. There's going to be guys in here, Zach Moss and that offense that you were talking about. Like, there's going to be running backs in here that hit. It's just which ones are they going to be? Think about Mostert went round 18 last year. Like all these guys, like there's just
there's
Kendra Miller, Zach Charbonnet. If there's an injury to the Walker, like there's just so many opportunities down
there. Chandler's I like too. Also, I don't think since going back to the Bengals, I think they're going to throw a lot more because they have. You mentioned Zach Moss, and just put the thought in my head. Chase Brown and Zach Moss are good running backs, but I really think Burrow can throw 700 times this year. I just can see them just winging it, and that's why I like the Bengals. I'm just feeling them a lot.
Yeah, got to have those vibes, man. You got to be able to lock in and take the guys and get them. Get your guys, just like you said. Snake, thanks so much for joining me tonight. Get your guys. This is not your first time on the show. This will certainly not be your last time on the show. We got multiple red versus blue drafts coming up, people, where we're going to have guests on. Are you in any of those, Snake?
I didn't sign up for the red versus blue yet.
I think there's still some spots left. We can have you back on.
Probably, I'll get in one of them. I do it every year. So
I think I'm personally in the next two, along with streaming them live. So we'll.
You're in there. Well, if you're in there, then
come on, baby, let's go. I'm one of the cool kids now. I don't know if I'm red or I'm blue,
I want to be in as many leagues as possible with you.
Well, should I take offense to that? I don't know.
No, it makes it fun, Adam.
I know. It
Just
does.
like, it makes it fun.
Dude,
I think I'm already in 3 leagues with you, and it's certainly June 26th or whatever.
And this is what I love, dude. This is why I love the FFWC. It's such it's high stakes, it's high volume, but it's such a tight knit community. Everybody the stuff you were dropping at the beginning of the show. Like, I've been looking at the drafts and the owners and the people in front of me have been in 4 or more, and the people behind. Like, nobody else is doing that at other sites. No one's doing that.
Yeah, it's like the small town barber shop next down the block. It's not a large conglomerate like Walmart. It's like it's homey. It's not all business. It's got a real hometown league feel to it, and you got to love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like even tonight, again, everyone jump in this Las Vegas Circa Fantasy Championship. I'm talking about it. I'm promoting it, and I'm seeing the names come in. It's the usual suspects. Everybody loves to get in these things, man. We love to compete at the highest level. Snake, thanks so much.
Hopefully, we weren't too much of a market mover during this past 45 minutes.
I know.
We don't have people shooting up and down the ADP.
I'm going to go in and draft a whole different team tonight. I'm going QB in round 3, tight end in round 2. Call it a night.
No, save that for when you're in the drafts with me together.
Yeah, there you go. But all right, Snake, thanks so much for joining me, and everybody else. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'll be back next week, and we'll talk more fantasy. See you guys.
Adam, thank you. Bye.
See you, buddy.